In terms of your setup then, Robbie, on these, okay? Yes, we're playing shorter shots. Now, there's multiple different names. You could YouTube, Google, or whatever, all these different shots, and they'll come under different things like chip shots, pitch shots, bump and runs, chip and runs, low. There's just tons, okay? But for me, it's just long shot, short shot. Yes, I suppose you guys, there's the medium shots, you get a bit more advanced, but for the most part, from 75 yards and upwards to 100 yards is going to be kind of your long shots with 9s and wedges and 7s and so on. And then these short shots around the green, sort of 30 yards and in, would be kind of your short shot. So your setup as a result, as you can see, that's a little bit wider. You start to get a bit more narrow towards the end, which I think is definitely going to help you get a slightly smaller swing and a less powerful setup. But by being shorter, nearer the golf ball, down the grip, you take the power off this golf club. Suddenly now this golf club can't go the 100 yards it wants to go. It's going to be going a lot less. Even if you made a full swing, because you're just near the shaft being short is going to reduce the width of the arc there, okay? So being a shorter setup, smaller setup, okay?
With the ball, should it be further forward there?
No, that ball's fine. What would happen is, okay, as the ball, but if I put this down here now through your setup, that I would say is pretty much in the middle-ish, okay? But your feet are quite close together. If I was to take your right foot and move it back here for a longer shot, so you'll be moving yourself now to here, then your legs would be like so. The ball now would be in the position it was for the full shots, just left to centre. So by having it kind of, I use this stick there as an example, if I'm standing my feet together, the ball's kind of middle-ish, maybe a little bit to the back. If I do this, the ball now is going further forward. I'm not moving myself up and down kind of side to side, just by the width of stance will affect that ball position, okay? In terms of the swing, as we said, you were going back, that's probably how far you need to go, and you were just going back almost double that. So you just, at this point here, now it's like a catapult being pulled back, you just store too much power. And because of that, as you come through, your follow through barely gets past your left foot there, because you come to the golf ball and just try and stop the golf club, because it's like, whoa, it's got too much energy, deflect it, swing out away from the body, stick the club in the ground, hit down or whatever it may be, to try to reduce that amount of power. If you've gone back, if we say this was kind of the 10 yards you wanted, and you've gone back up here 20 yards, you've got to try and reduce 10 yards of power coming down, which is going to be, so you grip on the club, you'll snag it, you'll do all these different things, okay? So when you got closer and narrower here, your swing length now was kind of more back and through, and because you had a sort of slightly deader strike in terms of the grip position being softer and looser, you're swinging back at it now, similar kind of length of swing, lovely strike of the ball as you can see, and the ball just chipping on the green. Now with that 9 on the wedge you've got there, there's an 8 on, isn't it? 8 on? 8 on, yeah. What you would look at is if this is kind of the green, okay, and this is the flag down the end here now, okay, and your golf ball is here. If you're playing the 8-iron, what you would generally expect, or would expect to see, is probably the ball landing about sort of 30% and then roll to the flag. If we're going 7-iron, maybe 6-iron, it'd be more kind of like 25% and then roll. If we go pitching wedge, it'd be landing probably halfway and then rolling. Maybe with a sand iron or more lofted club, you go higher again, it would land further and have less roll. They'd all be getting towards the flag at 20 yards, but because of the difference in the club, it's going to give you more angle and more loft, okay? Now what you will find, to land a ball with a sand iron this far, okay, or a pitching wedge, would require a bigger swing, okay? If you hit the middle of the golf ball, the club's all the way at the same. So if you're making a longer swing, the miss is going to go a lot further. You miss it your 8-irons. Some of the 8-irons you hit there today, you didn't really miss it them massively, but you've got a few in the middle of the golf ball, but they still kind of stayed roughly in the air of the golf ball, okay? If you make a sand iron swing that would require, I mean, if we said that is 20 yards with an 8-iron, that's probably 10 yards with a sand iron. Okay. But if you hit middle of the ball, across the back of the green, so your shorter swing will be a lot more under control. So if you can play an 8 or a less lofted club, land the ball quicker, it's a lot more, exactly, easier to judge and so on. The swing shorter, there's less likelihood of something going wrong. If the club's up here, things could go wrong, okay? So the smaller swing will kind of give you a kind of more controlled swing throughout. There's less that can go wrong potentially, okay? So by adjusting that swing, and in time, as obviously the swing itself is a circle, if we say 0, the ball goes nowhere there. If you go up there, it's 10, 20, 30. You go up here, 40, 50, 60. Anywhere around that circle where you stop is the creation of power. At the moment now, it's a bit of a guess, I suppose. You know what full feels like, and you know now kind of what short and small feel like. Yeah. In time on the golf course, we'll look at some of these sort of shots up here, because they're going to be a different type of shot again in terms of distance. Okay, but judging distance, for me, the sort of process that we go through is learn to hit the golf ball, tick, you've done that. Can you hit the ball up in the air? Yes, you can. Can you hit the ball fairly straight? Yes, you can. Can you learn how far to hit the golf ball? And that's the thing. So when you're on the golf course and we go out there sometime, it's like, okay, right, we got 75 yards to go. Well, what club are you going to use? Yeah. How big is this thing going to be? If you stood there with the wrong club, made a full swing and smashed it 120, you're like, oh, 45 yards over the back of the green now. Yeah. Then you've got 45 yards, okay. What's he going 10 yards? Oh, God. That's got 90 yards. And as jokingly as that was kind of sort of described, people do that. People go on the golf course, they sort of duff it, hit it good, duff it, whatever it may be, get to the green, they ping it too far, and they're going back and forth like a yo-yo and stuff. So it's always difficult to judge that distance, okay? So any questions on that at all now?
No,
Makes sense? Excellent, good.